can be tough trying to decide which commanders are good in the early game. So today I'm going to be making an investment tier list for every single early game commander up until Season 3. Any commanders after that will not be in the tier list. So if you are in the early game and you want to be able to choose the right commanders to still be powerful in Season of Conquest, then I'm going to set up basically a very easy and a very simple tier list for everyone to follow. You have to stick around to find whichever commanders you're interested in, because I'm not going to just put them in a tier and not talk about them. I'm going to discuss all the commanders so that you do know my opinions on them and what I think they do good and what I think they do bad. So, before I start, like I said in the intro, no Season of Conquest commanders will be in this tier list. I have a separate video for that, so if you're interested in that, link will be on the end screen and in the description of this video. I will include gold key commanders. There will not be a gold key tier. I'll be investing in gold key commanders the same way you would any normal commander, basically. So we're going to keep that in mind when we make the tier list. Switching over to the tier list, here it is. So over each tier, must invest / meta, the best commander for their troop type or just a super good commander in general. Good investments. They are super good secondaries, or they can be used with another commander in Season of Conquest, or they are really good with a must invest / meta commander, which means if you're a main for that type of troop, good investments are a good commander to choose. Niche means they're borderline bad, but they have some type of use, or they work in a really specific situation so well that I would put them in a commander you may consider investing in. Bad investments means they are garbage. I wouldn't touch them with a 6-foot pole. For the most part, any commander in here is a complete do not invest in my opinion. Gathering is trash, basically. All they do is gather, and I wouldn't be putting gold heads in them. Speaking of gathering, the first commander I have to review today is a shitter, and he's going in gathering, obviously a gathering commander. He has some niche use with like buffing your own marches with the skill damage and rage he does, but for the most part, trash commander. Richard, a favorite of some people, and I'm going to put him at the complete top of niche tier. He is super good as an infantry commander early game, like crazy good early game, but after Saladin comes out and after these other commanders release that reduce healing effects or even make commanders who heal take damage, Gilgamesh, then, I mean, you're looking at a commander that's not going to perform nearly as well in Season of Conquest. Also, Richard just doesn't have any damage factor, which is the current Rise of Kingdoms meta, doing as much damage factor as you can. He heals, which is obviously not that good for anything but barb farming, and all he does is really a tanky commander. So Richard is one of those commanders where if you're doing 3 or 4 infantry marches, he is really good, otherwise I would be skipping him. Saladin, Richard's main counter, is going to be a good investment in my opinion. He is just below that must invest meta because there is one better cavalry commander. He pairs really well with Minamoto, and Minamoto is actually a super powerful commander as well. The thing I like about Saladin, he has a slow effect, he has a nice debuff, which is his slow effect, and healing reduction. He's fairly tanky against skill damage, which is pretty good. So that's why I think Saladin is quite good as like a 4th or 3rd cavalry march if you're a cavalry main. And he's very good pre-Season of Conquest, that's why he's in the good investments. Charles Martel's going in the niche. I really wouldn't put many gold heads in him nowadays. Maybe a year ago he would have been in that good investments category, but nowadays his relic was quite underwhelming compared to other commanders, and he's only really okay as a free-to-play garrison. In the field, I haven't really ever lost to a Charles Martel. However, I am an archer main, I can't speak for some other players. Khan's actually going to go on the good investments, alright? Don't kill me. We saw a video of Chiskel using Genghis Khan, and with Genghis Khan's new relic, he did oddly well, actually. He crushed a lot of things with Genghis Khan, so I think Genghis Khan is like a Joan alternative. Really, if you're getting him though, you have to be spending, in my opinion, around $500 US a year, because he's one of those very medium spender commanders, because he will be replaced very easily with like the next generation of cav commanders, and he'll probably only really be good with Nevsky. Cracker March is Saladin and Khan in the early game, so if you are considering spending money, that March is crazy good. Tamiris is going in the niche only for whales. Her debuff is great for 6 or more marches. I've said it before, I've said it in my guide for her. Only a whale commander, and she's a pretty good city rally in like KVK 2 or 3. Julius Caesar, I'm actually going to put above Charles Martel. I think Julius Caesar has a lot of potential. I was messing around with the Julius Caesar relic when it first came out, and I double relicked him. So I messed around with that as well, and he actually traded quite well. I got basically a 1-for-1 trade, but I had worse gear, worse technology, crystal technology. I also had no alliance buffs, and I was also missing the Ziggurat buff that they had, so a lot of things I was missing, and Julius Caesar almost won, so Caesar's actually quite good. Cleopatra's a gathering commander, nothing more than that. El Cid is a bad investment in my opinion. El Cid is not the best archer gold key commander, and he's also kind of bad in like every single way. The only thing he's got is that instant proc damage, which I like, and I guess how he gets a bit more tanky when he gets low. Other than that, he's not good. His damage factor's bad for the most part. His tankiness isn't too crazy. His march speed's nice. And his expertise is basically useless. So if you're going for an LCD, you're either a whale or someone who's going to be such a die-hard archer main that needs 7 marches and somehow LCD is in that 7th march. Charlemagne's the worst commander in the whole game. I don't need to say more than that. Lupu is a bad investment as well. He can't really be obtained anymore, and if you do have him, I wouldn't recommend getting him. I don't know if there'll be anyone that has him in Season 2 or Season 1 or even Season 3, but if you do have a Lubu, then I mean, he's okay for that defense debuff in the early game, and then that becomes completely useless, and then he becomes completely useless because Nevsky doesn't stack with his debuff. Mehmed's going at the top of the good investments. He's actually so good in Season of Conquest. I reckon he's like just a touch worse than the meta commanders, purely because he is a gold key commander and I wouldn't really want to put gold heads in him. My Mehmed's 5511 and it's actually crazy. I beat like I think it was a Nevsky William with a Mehmed. This was a duel. Same person that I had the worst stats and all that. And I beat him like a 1-2 trade with a Boudica and a Mehmed. Stupidly good commander. Definitely someone I can recommend. Sundok's trash. Frederick is actually going to go to top of the bad investments. I think he's very good KVK 1, rubbish after that. KVK 1 if you have a 5, 1, 1, 1. Frederick, so maxing the first skill, nothing else. He's actually very usable. Frederick's value really either comes from getting his active skill maxed or expertising him. There's no in between. So for the early game where most players have like 5, 5, 1, 1 commanders, maybe there's a few whales with like a max YSG. Having Frederick at 5, 1, 1, 1 is super good. He does like 2,000 damage factor on average. He's got some capacity. He is a leadership commander, so he's a great secondary. A lot of these things are interesting about Frederick, and that's why I don't mind him. Minamoto is a must-invest / a meta. Like I said, Minamoto is the best cavalry commander. I said it before. Cavalry commander for the pre-season of Conquest. He is like the 3rd best cav commander at the moment. The thing with Mina is he's somewhat replaceable, but his debuff is still really good, especially if you're swarming flags and stuff like that. Constantine is a niche, super good in Canyon, like stupidly good in Canyon. Very good garrison for Season 2 and 3. And a great buff march for Season 2 and 3. But he really loses most of his value after that. Commanders who kill people when they heal, Gilgamesh, can really kind of put an end to Constantine. He's really only good because of that healing effect he gets when he leaves his city of like 14,000, and you don't really want to heal in the field. He is very tanky though, so I do like him with like a Joan of Arc as a buffing march, but then again, you've got better options like Trajan in Season of Conquest. I'm going to put Ragnar in the bad investments, probably just above El Cid, because he is an amazing city rally. Other than that, he's absolutely useless. I wouldn't field with him. I wouldn't garrison with him. That's it. He's only good for rallies. He doesn't really have any major buffs or debuffs, so that's just how it is. He's kind of like a Takeda replacement. That's what most people say, at least. Cao Cao is going to go below Ragnar, and I think El Cid's still a bit worse. Cao Cao is really good in KVK 1, like really, really good, and his relic is okay, and he's good at barb forts. But everything about Cao Cao is okay, and he's not good in the field in Season of Conquest. I think Cao Cao is always going to be in that bad investment category. I don't think that's going to change. He is now available from the Wheel of Fortune. It should be around this time of the video. But I wouldn't really be getting him from the Wheel of Fortune. I don't think anything's going to change with him. His relic is okay. His double relic's like 30% health, maybe. I think it's like 30 or 20%. Yeah, it's a lot of health, but he's just such a bad commander, I don't think it really changes much. Ethelflaed's really, really good with Saladin and really, really good with Charles Martel, in my opinion, and possibly a good commander with Caesar. And she's free. Her debuff's great. If you have a Saladin, I would be getting Ethelflaed. If you have like any infantry commander, I would be getting Ethelflaed just to put him with him. Because I think that she's got such a good debuff. She's literally free. She does 2,400 damage factor on her active skill since her AoE doesn't decrease. What can I say? Elder Woodstock is going to go in the niche just below Tamiris. He's amazing, 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 amazing in Season 2 and 3. Best rally in that season by far. Best field commander in that season almost by far. So, in that season, Edward of Woodstock's insane. After that, Edward of Woodstock is one of the worst archer commanders in the whole entire game. Whether or not his relic will change much, I doubt it, but we can see. I thought Khan's relic wouldn't change much, and now Khan's in my good investment category. What can I say? So once his relic comes out, we'll know if he's going to be good or not. I think his relic will be coming out in the next 2 or so months with Tamiris' relic, and Tamiris' relic may be so good I pump her up to good investments because she's getting a lot of stats. YSG, another archer commander, definitely a meta investment, the best archer commander, probably one of the best, actually the best commander out of all the pre-season of Conquest commanders in my opinion. A lot of people think that since ZHUGE is coming to the game, YSG is going to lose most of his effectiveness, but I think, hey, YSG is so good on the field. ZHUGE is going to definitely be good on the field. Why not just have 2 YSGs, basically? I would love 2 YSGs in my murder ball. What can I say? If you're going to get ZHUGE and you already have YSG, or you know you want to get ZHUGE at some point, YSG will pair pretty okay with him. YSG is a great second or third archer commander you could consider. I really like YSG, especially like with Henry or with Boudica. He's still such a slapping commander, and I don't think that's going to kill him just because you're laying a slightly better version of him as released. Alexander the Great is going in the meta. Alexander the Great is the best infantry commander pre-Season of Conquest. A lot of people say he should be in like a good investment or like a niche category nowadays because he's not as strong. First of all, he's getting a relic soon. What can I say? That's not too bad. Second of all, a lot of people overlook two things. A lot of people ignore shielding on commanders for the most part, besides like Heraclius, who's a garrison meta and stuff. And a lot of people ignore march speed. A lot of people say, I want my commanders to have march speed. And then when those commanders who have march speed aren't trading like 1 for 10, they're like, oh, that commander's trash, I don't want to use him. I watched a cavalry main chase around a guy with a Scipio and Alex for like 6 minutes, I swear. He was TPing, jumping in and out of flags, trying to get this guy running on his territory. And he couldn't do it because Scipio Alex is so fast. I think Alex's march speed is just unrivaled and he's definitely still a very good commander. And I really like his instant proc damage, so if you're going for an infantry commander, Alexander the Great is the way to go. Hannibal Barca is useless past Season 1. He has to be VIP 14 to max him. He is like $300 and he does nothing. That's all I have to say about Hannibal Barca. Mulan, I'm going to put just below Tamiris. Mulan is a whale commander, really. If you're using Mulan, you are going to be whaling, spending a lot of money. You're probably going to pair her with like a Trajan to get a nice buff march as a 7th march. But other than that, Mulan is just a niche tier. If you're whaling, she's crazy good because you can pair her with like a Trajan, like I said, get super crazy buffs, and she's got a debuff, and she's very tanky with Trajan's tankiness. Very powerful commander in that situation. Her relic is also really good in that situation. Otherwise, she's bad, and I wouldn't really invest in her. Thutmose is also going to go into the niche, just, I think, ahead of Constantine, because Thutmose you can get from the gold chest currently, and he's becoming a Season 3 commander. So, I mean, who could complain? Thutmose is going to become Season 3. I'm sure that he's going to buff, like, probably his active skill damage to about 1,600 to 1,800. He may get some stat changes, so I think he's going to become quite a good commander. This is just a prediction, though. We don't currently know what his buff will actually look like. The final commander in the game that I'm going to discuss on the early game currently is Wuzetian. And I think she's going to go just below Frederick in the bad investments. Actually above. She's not good in the field at all in any way, but she's a really, really good garrison. I remember some Wuzetian garrisons shredding when I was in KVK 2 and 3. So, I mean, Wu is definitely a good garrison. Other than that, she's not really useful in the field, and she kind of loses her garrison value in Season of Conquest. She is getting a relic, but I doubt that's going to change her garrison capabilities, since we've just got such powerful garrison commanders like Flavius, Jan Ziska, Heraclius, a lot of commanders that are just that one tier above. Now, if you want me to justify any of my rankings, then just feel free, put your reasoning in the comments. Tell me why you think I should have put a commander higher or lower. Tell me in the Discord if you want. That's all up to you. But these videos do take a lot of time and effort, and I've been helping you guys get those better commanders for quite a while. So I have a goal. My dream is to get 1,000 subscribers by June. So let's do it, guys. All I ask for, all the effort I put into this video is, have I earned your subscription? If I have, turn that button grey. I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.